customer that doesn't drive your car won't buy your car, and you've got to get that in your mind. However, you finesse that customer into driving your car. Why would a customer not want to drive my car, Michael? They would be committing themselves. Isn't that sort of what I want them to do? Why else would a customer not drive my car, Rick?
Maybe he feels he wants to look around.
They want to look around. They want your numbers to buy elsewhere. You've got to get an attitude that I'm not here to help you get a better deal elsewhere. I make my living right here. If all we're doing here is an exercise to get you a better deal somewhere else, I'm not going to participate. Drive my car. Craig, does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
They don't drive your car, they won't buy your car. How can they possibly become emotionally attached to a car they didn't personally drive? Does that make sense? What's your first name?
Gil.
Gil, does that make sense to you?
A lot of sense.
But how many times do I see salespeople go to the sales desk trying to work a deal with somebody that didn't commit? Anybody ever tell you to control your customer? How many people have been told recently to control your customer? Come on, show yourselves. What does that mean? What does it mean to control your customer? Anybody, yell it out. What does it mean? Take charge. What else? Come on now. Commitment. What else?
Find out where they're at the deal.
Find out where they're at. Control your customer, my definition, is to cause that customer to act in a predetermined way. Don't let them get you out of your sequence. You build a sale the way you build a house, and it starts with a foundation. That foundation is meet and greet the customer. I need your best price, sir. That doesn't come for 4 more steps. Here's my book. Tell me when we get there. They do that. I mean, in Atlanta, Georgia, where I live, you never believe it. Honest to God, they ask a salesman, what's your best price? Aren't you glad they don't do that in Indiana? What's your best price? The most dangerous moment in a car sale. Whatever you do, whatever you say next is going to determine whether you blow the deal, whether you make any money, whether your kids have the Reeboks under the Christmas tree or not. The most dangerous moment. When I first got in the car business 30 years ago, golly, getting old really pisses me off. When I got into business 30 years ago, they told us when the customer asked what's your best price, your answer was whatever you and the manager agree on. How many people were taught that word track? It didn't work then and it doesn't work now. You've got to give them an answer they will accept and be comfortable with that doesn't give them the numbers. Deals are not blown inside the building. Deals are blown on parking lots. You get a customer inside the building, you generally make that deal, don't we? At least get the write-up. Deals are blown by things we do outside, not things we do inside. Things you say. Now, if I were a salesperson working in your dealership and I was side by side with you, I also would talk numbers on the parking lot. I'd do it myself. I mean, consumers are going to maneuver you into a situation you can't get out of occasionally. Is that right, Heather? Occasionally you're going to be caught up in something you just can't get away from. But I'm going to do it less than most people. And when you do it, you need to know you're messing up. When you do it, you need to know you did the wrong thing. You need to feel it. And I'm going to talk about some word tracks to get away from that without offending the people. You know, we've got a delicate balance here of controlling the customers and offending the customers. Does that make good sense?
Yes, sir.
When that customer comes on the lot and they're firing at you with both barrels and they're putting you under high pressure to talk figures prematurely, you've got to be able to dodge that bullet because we're going to give the customer all the information they need to make an intelligent, informed decision. But the truth of the matter is, we're going to do it at the proper time. It's the number one reason deals are blown is premature discussion of figures. Now we're going to give the customer all the information they need to make an intelligent and informed decision. There's a woman in the Boston Pops Orchestra who is paid upwards of $15,000 a month to play light percussion instruments like the cymbals and the triangles. And I am a better cymbal player than she is. I'm stronger. I can make a louder, crisper sound, but they will not pay me $15,000 a month, but they'll pay it to her. Why is that, Hector? Why would they pay that woman $15,000 a month to play the cymbals when I play them better? Because she knows something I don't know. She knows when to play them. When is more important than how in that particular game. Well, when to disclose the figures is just as important in the car sale. Everything at the proper time. You build a sale the way you build a house. Meet and greet the customer. 3 affirmations. You're going to buy it here, you're going to buy it now, you're going to buy it from me, and that's that. You've got to have that attitude. This is a now deal. Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer, if you could own this car on your terms, that's your terms. You'd own it now, wouldn't you? Great, let's pick one. How many people say no to that? That question will make the shopper into the buyer. Because we're going to weave a web with that. When I get to negotiation a little later this afternoon, I'm going to bring that question back. Just remember, we asked the customer that, and remember they said yes. What's your best price? Now, what is your answer to that, Brian? What do you sell? Dodge? Okay, I got a brand new Nitro here. What's your best price?
MSRP, best value.
MSRP, he said. Did he just piss those people off? I mean, that isn't really going to make a lot of friendlies on the lot, is it? What do you sell, James?
Priceline Jeep.
What's your best price?
I still don't know how to answer that question.
But they never ask you that?
No, they asked me that.
And you don't know how to answer it.
I've tried several ways.
Honda salesman. Brand new Accord. Hybrid. What's your best price?
What we're asking.
What we're asking. Did he just endear me to the... Is he going to make a sale with that sort of an attitude? I don't think so. Listen to the word track. It's complex. My best price? No problem. The first 2 words out of your mouth. No problem. Everybody say it. No problem. Louder. No problem. Now, who am I talking to here? Me or the customer? I'm talking to myself. When I say no problem, I'm not saying it to the customer. I'm reminding myself this is not an insurmountable thing. My best price? No problem. Mr. Customer, this is Campbell Ford. Price is a specialty. Mr. Customer, if price is an issue, if it's important to you, we'll do business today. If price is important, if it's an issue, if it's a concern. Now notice I'm saying this word track different ways because it's conversation, it's not memorization. We're not talking at the people with some little script we memorized in a sales meeting. We're talking with them. Does that make sense to you? Talking with the people? My best price, sir, that's not a problem. If price is your issue, I assure you we'll do business today. Mr. Customer, this is Tom Wood, and we have been instructed not only to get you the best price, we have been instructed to get you all of the information you need to make an intelligent, informed decision. And sir, let me assure you there'll be no pressure to buy whatsoever. Is that fair? We've been instructed to get you the monthly payment amount, what we'll pay for your trade. We've been instructed to get you the interest rate, the lease payment, everything you need to make an intelligent and informed decision. Is that fair, sir? All my management requires is that we select and drive a car before figures are discussed. Is that fair? No pressure to buy. That is the strongest part of the word track. I'll get you all the information, everything. We're not going to hold anything back. All we require is that we select and drive a car before figures are discussed. Fair enough? I have seen that word track work with so many diverse types of customers, and it works most of the time. Nothing works all of the time, does it?
No.
No. I deal with what works most of the time with most of the people. And if something else happens, the line breaks down, the blitz is on, we'll scramble. What works with most of the people? That word track will work with the majority of people. Sir, no pressure to buy. I'll get you all the information. All we require is we select and drive a car first. Fair enough? How good is that word track, Sean?
Very good.
Could you see customers accepting that word track in your visual mind?
Absolutely.
Could you see it? People will accept that word track. That's why it's so good. I'll get you all the information. Now, the other question people ask you is, what's your interest rate? This is your first opportunity to piss off the F&I manager. What's your interest rate? Now, in Atlanta, Georgia, where I live, we have people that come in that, you're not going to believe this, we have people that have bad credit. No, I swear, we do. Aren't you glad we don't have that in Indy? We used to call these people derogatory names. Bogues, drecks, roaches, credit criminals, get-me-dones. Remember that? Of course, we don't do that anymore. We're socially conscious. We call these people credit challenged, equity impaired. We've gotten nice. Do Bogues know who they are?
Yes.
They have received mail about it. They have seen tow trucks skulking around their driveways. They know they're Bogues. They're just pissed off that you found out. And they will try to get all the information before you get a bureau, won't they?
Yes, they will.
And what's so funny, you talk about Bogue mentality. Anybody ever see Jeff Foxworthy do the bit where they're repossessing his car? Oh my God, they're coming to repossess my car. Oh, they're knocking on the door. Yes, sir. No, I don't have the money. If I had the money, I'd have paid you. No, I don't have a check. A check? Why did I think of that? Here, let me pay that sucker off. Is that Bogue mentality? Absolutely. Credit is the only qualifier. Right now, 63% of consumers have a credit score under 600, according to American Consumer Reports. 63%. I don't know, probably another 20 or 30% of people have damaged their credit, but 63% are under 600 with their credit score. Credit is the only real qualifier. So when people ask you what the interest rate is on the parking lot, here's the answer. Mr. Customer, as you know. As you know, is that a strong statement? When I say, Dennis, as you know, does that imply everybody knows this?
I know.
As you know, it applies as common knowledge. Now, sir, as you know, is that an intimidating statement? As you know. No, it's not? If I say to you, as you know, are you going to act like you don't know it? Sir, as you know, oh yeah, I knew that. Because if you act like you don't know it, you're going to appear to be a dumbass. As you know, different people qualify for different financial programs. Now, is that a true statement or a false statement?
True.
Do different consumers qualify for different financial programs? But now, what is so unusual about what I just said? What's so unusual about what I just said?
You didn't tell them what the interest rate was.
I didn't say what the interest rate is. I said financial programs. I did not repeat the word interest rate back to them. We don't have interest rates. We have financial programs. Here, all the substitute wording I'm using here, it's more friendly wording to the customer. Mrs. Customer, I'm sure you're aware that different people qualify for different financial programs. It depends on several things. It depends on your personal credit history and the amount of your down payment. I'm a car salesperson. Frankly, I'm not allowed to know your personal credit history. That's between you and the financial manager in privacy. I'm not allowed to know your personal credit history. The new federal privacy guidelines forbid it. How strong is that word track? I'm not allowed to know your personal, I'm allowed to take your credit application, that's information you gave to me. But I'm not allowed to know your personal credit history, to see your credit bureau as such. That's between you and the financial manager. Mr. Consumer, Brian, as you know, different people qualify for different financial programs, Scott. Depends on your personal credit history and the amount of your down payment. Down payment is the key to profitability. You want to make the grosses I'm talking about, you got to get cash out of the people. I'm going to tell you how to do that before the day's out. Not just the rebate, but real cash down payment. I am working with literally hundreds of dealerships, some of the biggest players in the country, and little Mayberry dealerships. Imports, domestics. I'm working with a lot of dealerships, and we're doing $3,000, $3,500 a car in most of the dealerships I'm working with. I got to tell you, the average down payment in a store I'm working with right now, real cash from the customer plus rebate, real cash portion is averaging $1,700 a unit. The average dealership that is not doing this is getting $250 or less per finance deal, and that might be where some of you guys and ladies might be. Cash down payment is the key to holding gross. So the first thing I say to the consumer is, Mr. Consumer, as you know, different people qualify for different financial programs. Depends on your personal credit history, the amount of your down payment. I'm a car sales professional. I'm not allowed to know about your personal credit history. That's between you and the financial manager in privacy. I do know, however, that 20% cash down payment is customary for the best financial programs, the premium financial programs. That statement has so much power. You're already planting a seed when the negotiation arrives. I'm one of the few national trainers that even teach negotiation in a sales class. Most of them stay away from it. But we will be doing that before the day is out. What are you getting out of today, Steve?
Attitude.
Attitude. What kind of an attitude?
You gotta be ready to go out and sell cars.
You got to be ready to go out and sell cars. I was working with Lynn Hickey Dodge in Oklahoma City a couple years back. Largest dealership in history, sold 2,815 units in June of 1994. That's in the Guinness Book of Records. That is recorded and certified. Let me tell you something. Every day that those people showed up, they had attitude. Every time they walked out the door, it was showtime. That dealership had 28 acres. Every car in stock had a balloon on it every day, full-time balloon manager with a demo. I mean, you talk about doing some tremendous numbers. We knocked the cover off the ball. They sold that dealership to one of the big public companies that never sold 100 units again. They closed the point. Excitement sells cars. Enthusiasm sells cars. It's an emotional sale. It's not a logical sale. What are you getting out of today so far, Rich?
That you can stretch the customer. Don't always come in to what they want you to do. Thinking that one step further.
Well, you can stretch the customer. Do we have Kroger here? Okay, I want you to go to Kroger and you talk about customer control. There is a little lane there that says 15 items or less cash only. I want you to put 150 items in your cart and be waving a check. And watch a 17-year-old girl still in high school control you because you're on her turf. Why would we do any less when they're on our turf? When that customer comes on the lot, you control a customer by short commanding statements. What year were you born?
81.
81. I have underwear older than you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry too. Okay. In 1973, I was teaching Dale Carnegie courses in Jacksonville, Florida, part-time. And it's kind of interesting. I was selling radio advertising in the daytime, and I was teaching Carnegie in the evenings, one night a week. And a couple years later, I was asked back to a Carnegie convention, a regional convention. And somebody in that Carnegie convention asked me, when I got done with the speech, he said, "Mr. Ziegler, what is the secret of sales?" Now, what kind of a question is that? What is the secret of sales? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the secret of sales is the illusion of expectation. Write that down, the illusion of expectation. When you tell a customer to do something, sign something, give you a check, you've got to look like you expect them to do it in reality. How many times have I sent in figures and watched the salesperson turn the worksheet over and say, "Sir, don't get upset. This is just the first pass." You've got to go in there with confidence and total expectation. How many people have heard that if you turn around and say, "Follow me," the people will come? Don't look back. I used to cheat. I used to pick up their 2-year-old and say, "Follow me," and they'd come. You know, they would always come. But the idea that you expect people to do what you tell them to, that's how you control your customers. Your eye contact, your body language, your voice intonation, everything about what you just said indicates you totally expect them to do it. Does that make sense to you? Total expectation. The third affirmation, the most important of the three, it's not about money. Now, that's going to be a major cultural change for some people in the room. Because you've been selling cars based on money for so long, that's a logical sale. I'm into the emotional sale. It's not about money. Now, people are going to ask you, what's your best price? How much can I buy this car for? What's my payment? Those are all forms of that question. The more information you give, I want you to remember one thing. If you're talking about money, you're losing money. If the conversation is about money, you are losing money. I don't want to qualify the customer in any way. Now, this is going to go against every trainer in the industry. Listen closely. I'm going to teach you how to improve your closing ratio and how to hold gross. The way that you hold gross is stop qualifying your customers. Because you're not qualifying them, you're disqualifying them. Think about it. All the questions you're asking are designed to find out why they can't buy a car. The stupidest question that we ever ask a customer, the absolute most asinine question. "Hi, welcome to the dealership. My name's Jim Ziegler. Your name is?"
My name's Rich.
"Hey, Rich, glad you're here. What's your budget?"
$250 a month.
What's your budget? What a dumbass question that is. "Mr. Customer, tell me a number you pulled out of your anatomy. Tell me a number that has no mathematical correlation to the car you're looking at. Tell me a number we can fight over, draw a line in the sand over. Tell me a number I can blow you out over, and tell me a number that's going to cause hard feelings." Don't find out their budget. How many people have done a deal based on payments, and then the F&I manager bumped them $80, $60, $70 a month after you thought you had your best deal? How many? Everybody. That was money you left on the table because the customer closed you out that they couldn't pay anymore. Why was the F&I manager able to bump those people $70 a month when you sat there smugly thinking you had all the money? Here you got a mini deal and a spin, and they hit a home run on the back. Because you tried to react to their information. You're absolutely right. I have been doing this 30 years. And I've asked a lot of customers what their budget was, thousands of them. I never, not once, had one tell me a number that would buy the car. But everybody think about that. How many times have you asked somebody their budget? We're looking at a $30,000 Buick Lucerne. We're looking at a $28,000 Camry. I said, sir, this Camry's $28,000. What's your budget? And the customer says, $28,000. I was thinking maybe $950, $1,200 if I had to. Is that what you're getting? Is that what they're saying? Hey, Jesse, is that what they're saying? No. I don't care what it is. Are we up to $250 a month in this market yet? No matter what the hell it is, $250. In the next 10 years, they'll probably move their thinking up to $300. That's on Lexus 400. Right? Don't ask them what their budget is. It doesn't matter. Now, I'm not telling you don't do what your management says. If your management wants you to qualify them that way, do it. I don't run your dealership. I got your check. I'm flying out of here tonight. You do what your manager says. You know, I got what I came for. But the truth of the matter is, explain what I'm teaching you here. I don't want to know their budget. It's inconsequential. I don't want to know what they want to pay. It's not what they want to pay. It's what they're going to pay. It's based on what they're able to pay. All qualifications should be on their ability to pay, not their desire to pay. Does that make sense? My anniversary was last week. I bought my wife a $20,000 Canary diamond pendant. I mean, it was a good evening. A very good evening. But when I went to the jewelry store where I always buy the jewelry, the woman asked me what my budget was. My budget was $7,500. But she knew I could afford more than that, and she presented the $20,000 diamond. It's not what people want to pay, it's what they're able to pay when value exceeds price. Does that make sense? I planned to spend no more than $7,500 when I walked in that jewelry store, but I walked out $20,000 down. Don't find out what they want to pay, because that obligates you to try to get there. Now, I'm going to draw a graphic on the flip chart, and I know some people in the back are going to have to strain to see it, but I'm going to do my best to make it big. This is full list. That's all the money. Might be MSRP, it might be more. But that line is all the money. This line is invoice, maybe cost. That line is none of the money. If it's a new car today, you got 6%, maybe 8% markup. That's it. You go out to the customer and you say, what's your budget? And the customer says, well, I was thinking about $300 a month. Where does that deal start? Below invoice. You ask the customer their budget and they tell you a figure that is below invoice. So now you have to bump them, and that's what you're doing. How many of you spend most of your time bumping people? Yes? I don't want to bump the people. I want them to have to bump me, but they got to see my number first. The secret of holding gross is for the customer to see our number before we see their number.